It's after midnight on the edge of a ranch stock pond in Texas. Wendy Davidson has something she desperately needs to hide.
She knew that if she dumped him in water, his body would rise to the surface pretty fast. So she gathered some heavy auto parts and concrete blocks and things. She tied these things to his body.
The body belongs to her husband, Air Force Sergeant Michael Severance.
This man was a hero. He survived 5 tours of duty in the Middle East. And yet, he couldn't survive 5 months of marriage to that woman.
On the outside, Wendy Davidson looks like a smart, successful vet.
Okay, open wide. Good doggy.
But Wendy's family makes life complicated. Wendy has been married to Michael Severance for 5 months. But no matter how hard he tries, Michael can never satisfy his new mother-in-law.
Wendy was very torn by the conflict between her parents and Michael. Wendy was tied to her parents. They were helping her financially to get her practice going. Her mother was working in the clinic almost every day. She was bound to them by emotional bonds that just could not shatter.
When Michael and Wendy plan a visit to his father in Maine, Wendy's mom doesn't like the idea. The pressure is wearing Wendy down.
Somehow, Wendy, in her self-centered, vainglorious way, decided that this was the solution to her problem. That if she got rid of Michael, her life would be fine. It was irrational, it was heartless, it was cold. But that's how Wendy's mind worked.
In January 2005, Les Severance waits for his son and his grandchild to arrive for their first visit to Maine.
I come through the door, pumped, let's go. We gotta go pick up Mike. And they give me the news that Mike's not coming. Nobody knows where he is.
Wendy says her husband has mysteriously gone missing. A father's instincts say something is wrong.
It was just all piling up that something is amiss here. That something's not right.
Late at night, Wendy Davidson desperately scours the internet. Her searches will leave clues to a murder.
2 things in particular on the computer were a query on polygraph examinations, and then another query on the decomposition of body in water.
As Texas Ranger Sean Palmer begins investigating the disappearance of Michael Severance, Michael's wife, Wendy, becomes the prime suspect.
Surveillance information showed that Wendy Davidson traveled to a ranch that we knew she had access to.
On that ranch is a pond with her dark secret.
The Texas Department of Public Safety dive team assisted with the search of the pond and ultimately discovered Michael Severance's body.
"2,000 miles away, in Maine, Michael's father receives grim visitors.
And then when I pulled in the driveway, I see the Air Force plates. And I really had a hard time coming through the door. I stood out in the driveway for probably 15 minutes because I knew. They told me that they had found Michael's body in the pond.
As police close in, Wendy Davidson panics. She calls her family to a secluded cemetery and makes a strange confession.
She told her brother that I did not kill Michael Severance, but I disposed of his body. She said, because I knew someone in my family must have killed him, and I wanted to protect my family.
But all the evidence is pointing to Wendy.
One of the things that was critical in the investigation was the drugs that she kept at the clinic.
Wendy had altered her logs, covering up the missing drugs that killed her husband.
Law enforcement pieced together all the little bits of evidence and came up with a scenario. Friday evening, Wendy and Michael went out to celebrate the upcoming trip and to have dinner together and a few drinks, and came back to their apartment inside the clinic.
All right, here it comes. 1 and 2. Yeah, you see that? Right here. One more shot.
Law enforcement believes she put a little phenobarbital into the beer that Michael drank.
Man, I could really use a beer right now.
Then they believe the combination of the phenobarbital and the beer that night just put him right to sleep. They believe that when that happened, she pulled out a veterinary syringe, filled it with euthanasia, and slammed that thing into the center of his chest. And pushed down on the plunger, just as she would have done any dog on the table in her clinic.
Its effect would take place immediately, and death would ensue in 2 to 4 minutes. This type of death is relatively painless. They simply fall asleep and stop breathing.
After dumping his body in the stock pond, Wendy thinks she's finished the job. But the investigation later reveals another gruesome fact.
Wendy, a couple of days after her husband's death, had gone online and researched what a body does in water. And she went, oops, I made a mistake. I didn't put enough weights on his body. He is going to rise up to the surface.
Wendy returned to the pond.
She saw the body was indeed rising.
It's not difficult to sink a body, but it's very difficult to keep a body down once it begins to decompose. The process of decomposition and the manufacture of gas in the body is relentless and ongoing.
Wendy has to get rid of the evidence one more time.
She took out her blue veterinary knife and stabbed his body 41 times.
Mutilating a dead body of someone that you supposedly loved, pretty gruesome thing to do, pretty incredible thing to do. I think most people can't even begin to imagine themselves doing such a thing. So she got past whatever hurdles she had to get past to do it.
After her arrest, Wendy enters a plea bargain. Convicted of murder, she's sentenced to 35 years in prison. Wendy still claims she is innocent.
I truly believe she feared that Michael was going to leave her and try and get custody of their son.
This is something that you think of every day. This never goes away. Why did they kill little Mikey?
It's a warm Florida evening when Sandy Razzo arrives home from work and comes face to face with a killer.
Some shots hit Miss Razzo in her extremities, others that hit her in, the body, and then there was one that was in her head.
Sandy will never know who or why. But this is no random slaying.
Before this, Tracy Humphrey had said, make sure you look into her eyes and you see the life drain from her eyes.
When 19-year-old Ashley Laney walks into a new gym in Tampa, Florida, she's intimidated by the hard bodies. Ashley's only recently left home. She's shy, lacking confidence, but immediately attracted to hotshot instructor Tracy Humphrey.
He's nearly 20 years older than her. He's an authority figure, and she immediately falls for this guy.
When you first meet Tracy, he gives you the impression that he really knows what he's doing. He's very confident and seems to really want to help people.
Toby White trained with Tracy at the gym, watching him move in on Ashley.
She was very bubbly, innocent. I started to feel protective of her. I could see how naive she was, how innocent she was.
Weeks later, Ashley's whole life has been transformed. She has a new body and a new love. But she's made a mistake. She's in the clutches of a monster.
Tracy Humphrey's background is littered with violence against women.
He had a very lengthy criminal history, spent time in prison. There were previous cases of him battering women in the past.
She files sexual assault, rape charges against Tracy. And this becomes the beginning of the end for Sandy Razzo.
Tracy's new girlfriend, Ashley, isn't putting up a fight.
He's not only training her physically, he's training her mentally.
According to author M. William Phelps, he wants total control of Ashley.
He understands her, he reads her well right away that this is a girl with zero self-esteem. And all I have to do is tell her what she wants to hear, and she's gonna be my puppet. She's gonna do anything I want.
He's chosen the perfect target. Ashley craves the control of a powerful man.
The men in Ashley's background were hardly stellar examples of what a man should be. Her father spent most of Ashley's life in prison. Her brother was in and out of juvenile facilities. Men who have a need to control women, to control everything in their life, would not be attracted to a strong, independent woman. They are attracted to women who are looking for daddy.
One more. This is for us. Look at me.
That's exactly what Tracy wants. He needs a puppet to take care of some deadly business. Tracy's rape case is looming, and he cannot let his victim, Sandy Razzo, testify.
Tracy Humphrey had made a deal with himself. He would never, ever go back to prison. And he knew that a sexual assault case, a rape case, could put him in prison for 10 to 15 years, maybe 20 years.
Naive, vulnerable, Ashley will do anything for her man. To make sure she does, Tracy seals the deal with a wedding.
Tracy and Ashley get married inside the gym, go out for Chinese food for the reception, and for the nightcap, Ashley's gonna commit murder.
Ashley was only dangerous to one person in the world, and it was the person Tracy wanted her to kill.
At age 19, Ashley Humphrey should be putting on makeup for a night out with friends. Instead, she's getting made up for murder.
She had what she called a murder kit, and in that murder kit was oversized clothes, baggy clothes, oversized shoes, and black face paint.
He figured witnesses, if they saw her, would think, it's just a black guy. They would describe the killer as a black guy. And that's what he wanted, to throw off the scent.
From the safety of his couch, Tracy Humphrey will commit murder by remote control.
Yeah.
Okay, put it on.
Put it on your hands.
No.
I want you everywhere. I want you to look like a black man, okay?
Tracy is a violent rapist, up on a serious charge. Ashley's job is to silence the only witness, Tracy's victim, Sandy Razzo.
Ashley agrees to murder her for Tracy. And the reason she does this is simple. She wants his love. She wants his love. She wants everything he's promising her.
Tracy and Ashley's relationship can, I think, be pretty well described 2 words: master and slave.
On Tracy's orders, Ashley follows Sandy home from work.
Ashley was young and impressionable, but most importantly, she had a very, very strong need to be controlled by a man. In that regard, she was a sitting duck when Tracy came along, because he needed a woman to control.
Sandy pulls up in front of her condo, drives in the driveway, pulls into the garage, does not close the garage door.
From across town, the puppet master now dials in her death.
When you're done.
And he's telling her, you go and you do it. Then she runs into the garage. She grabs the pistol and she points it directly at Sandy Razzo's face. She begins to fire.
Sandy Razzo was shot 8 times. It was not the first shot that killed her. There was an apparent struggle. There were some shots that hit Miss Razzo in her extremities, others that hit her in, the body, and then there was one that was in her head. It would be a horrific way to die.
Before this, Tracy had said, make sure you look into her eyes and you see the life drain from her eyes.
I still can't get past the fact that she, on her own, walked up to somebody and shot them 8 times.
I think for Ashley, killing Sandy was a pretty easy thing to do because it was just one thing she had to do to keep Tracy in her life, and that was the most important thing.
Tracy thinks he's pulled off the perfect murder. His accuser is dead. He has a rock-solid alibi. But Tracy's need for control will bring him undone. Sergeant Scott Galzewski says cell phone records gave his team a vital clue.
Her cell phone was pinging off of towers shortly after the 911 call was made. And prior to that, they were pinging off of the towers, which were right by the location where Sandy Razzo worked at. So we started thinking, she possibly was the one that, committed the homicide.
It's gonna be okay. We can help you.
Away from Tracy's menacing influence, Ashley crumbles.
He wanted me to do it.
Who wanted you to do it?
Tracy. She was making up lies about him. He was gonna go to prison.
Ashley is not a stupid woman. There is no indication she wouldn't have had a very good life if she'd used her own brain, but she surrendered it. Her need to be loved by a man, a brutish man, took control of her life.
She needs someone to tell her what to do. And she met, really, Satan. She met the ultimate evil.
Ashley and Tracy Humphrey are both found guilty of murder. Tracy gets life. Ashley will spend 25 years behind bars.
Ashley ended one life and threw her own life away because she thought she needed a man.
I really believe had Ashley never met Tracy Humphrey, she would have never killed anyone in her life.